What's going on? 10:01. Good morning. Live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down studio. I am Robert Walsh. The round of 16 concluded yesterday in stunning fashion. Argentina, led by Lionel Messi, scored 3 unanswered goals in a 13-minute span in the second half to come back and beat Egypt 3-2 and advance to the quarterfinals. Messi scored his 8th goal in the World Cup and to take the lead in the Golden Boot race. Also, Switzerland took down Colombia to win 4-3 in penalties and advance in the quarterfinals for the first time since 1954. Now the quarterfinals are set. France takes on Morocco Thursday in Foxborough. Spain takes on Belgium Friday in Los Angeles. And then on Saturday, Norway faces England in Miami, and Argentina taking on Switzerland in Kansas City. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5.
The Zone.
No, that doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count?
You didn't do it in time. This one counts. Hold on. The Zone.
It's rigged. It's all rigged. I refuse to watch another match of the World Cup. Unacceptable. Deplorable. Biased at every turn. Johnny Football, Johnny Infantino, he wants his precious Argentina, his precious Lionel Messi. He wants them to advance, despite their fans hurling racial slurs at Speed, I Show Speed, on his YouTube stream, and all the other problematic parts of this. Not my GOAT. Messi's a cheater. That's how we're starting the show today. You preyed on my downfall. You preyed on my downfall. You said, I'm so determined to find some way to negatively impact you.
That's right.
Knowing that I am able to separate myself from basically any emotion in any situation, regardless of circumstance. They were up 2-0. At the 78th minute.
Like the last segment of the show. You didn't even get to leave, and you leave the building pretty quickly. You did not even get to leave the building before they lost.
Are you proud of yourself?
Maybe I need to get into witch doctordom. Maybe I need to be a witch doctor. I always thought that I would be a good medical professional. But if this is what it takes, the only thing I was wrong on is I said you would lose in a penalty shootout. And you guys just lost outright. You didn't even have a chance to win it.
No, we didn't lose outright. The refs.
Oh, yes.
VAR.
Yes. Oh,
Corruption.
I did see a stat. I told them, and this is probably an incorrect stat because I don't vet anything. I just take whatever the internet gives me.
Read Google AI.
And run with it. VAR has benefited the smaller country in the competition. Like if 2 teams were playing the smaller team, the smaller country has been benefited 0 by VAR. I think they're 0-9.
Yep.
So, listen to it. Corruption. Corruption is only good if I am involved.
It's no longer good.
I defend it.
Because I'm no longer involved.
I'm not defending it.
I'm done defending corruption.
I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. Corruption is bad.
I refuse to watch another match of this godforsaken sporting event.
Dang, I thought the games yesterday were pretty good.
They were. They were excellent. If you're anybody but an Egyptian.
I messed up so bad yesterday. You guys say this all the time, that Cheyenne is funnier than I am. Apparently, she was listening yesterday. She said that she thought when I was going to play the Egyptian national anthem that I was going to play Walk Like an Egyptian.
Yes, I was prepared for you to be very, very problematic.
How did I miss that?
I mean, the chat got it.
How did I miss that?
The chat was right there with it.
I'm off my game, man.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I'm juiceless. I've been hanging out with you too much. No. I've lost all my juice due to osmosis.
I just got hit on the air yesterday.
Well, yeah. Well, Julie also said she wouldn't mind my teddy bear-esque body. Come take a ride on the bearskin rug, Julie. Next Thursday, July 16th,
oh, no.
6 to 9.
Don't promote my bowling event that way.
Split Happens Bowling Bash.
By saying you're going to be running around nude.
I didn't say that. I just said ride on the bearskin rug. This body that is adorned with hair, kissed by God. in spatially unaware ways. Doesn't cover anything fully. It's just patch of hair here, patch of hair here.
Does it grow in all white trash like that?
You bet your sweet bippy it does.
I haven't seen Joe Dirt in so long.
The first one, incredible.
That's a classic. Yeah, the first one. Okay, nobody's watching Joe Dirt 2 except for you and Lucas.
I watched Joe Dirt 2, and I think I prefer Hubie Halloween, the Adam Sandler Halloween special. If we're talking about Netflix originals. We didn't even get to what you wanted to get here, where you were going to apparently attack me.
We'll get to it. I got time.
For my acumen.
I'm only halfway in. I'm only halfway into the segment. I got plenty of time. Let me stretch my legs. I'm not done with FIFA being rigged.
Well, it's not 10-12 yet. That would be halfway through the opening segment.
Only yesterday. I told you, I like it when Lucas isn't here. I get to do literally whatever I want. Nobody's here to curb me, which delights me. Lucas will be back from Brazil next week. Don't you worry. I know you're tired of me. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to jump in, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is how you get involved. Yes, FIFA's rigged. That is what the Egyptian national team coach and the Egyptian Football Federation said in a statement yesterday after Argentina was able to, we got 28-3 in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're the Falcons. There is no greater disrespect than Tom Brady getting on Twitter after that match and saying, yeah, I think it was worse than 28-3. Yeah, thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. You and your 7 trophies. Get out of here. So you have the Egyptian national team coach is saying, quote, Robert, that they cannot remain silent after Argentina was able to come back from down 2-0 with 11 minutes to play. They won 3-2. It was a ridiculous game. And I do agree with the Egyptian national coach that the VAR disallowing the second Egyptian goal was incorrect. Okay. And I'm not going to pretend to be any kind of rules analyst for the World Cup or for soccer. But when you see the explanation of why this is something that VAR should not really have been involved with in the first place, you start to see why the Egyptian national team is screaming conspiracy. So he says that he cannot remain silent on how the match unfolded. The coach is saying he will never watch the World Cup again, Robert. He's taking your stance. He's done with kickball after this World Cup.
Can't blame him.
He says because there's no justice in this competition. You think I play the victim well? Let me introduce you to my heritage. We'll never watch the World Cup again because there's no justice in the competition. Quote, there seems to have been pressure on the Argentinian side, on the referee, that has brought about this outcome. He said a number of football experts and specialist analysts, both locally and internationally, have highlighted controversial and influential refereeing incidents during the match. This underlines the importance of maintaining the highest standards of integrity, fairness, and transparency in match officiating, particularly in a competition of the stature and significance of the FIFA World Cup 2026. FIFA has been approached for comment. They have made none.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
And now I'm not. So now it's your ass. Now it's your ass, Johnny. You bald weasel.
Oh, get him. Go ahead. Tear
I
him.
swear to God.
What's this guy look like? I've never seen him in my life.
Infantino, he looks like a Bond villain. He looks how Zlatan sounds.
How do you spell his first name?
Gianni.
Oh, that's a girl's name.
No.
Oh, this dude looks like a naked mole rat, dude.
That's what I said. Bald weasel. It's a bald weasel.
How does he have eyebrows? It looks like he is not allowed to grow hair on his body anywhere else.
They drew it on him.
God, he's got some hoot owl eyebrows. You know when you see them old people and the eyebrows are like a little longer than like Clint Eastwood's mustache hairs? It's
Terry
like,
McCormick.
Every time
I love
see
you,
him,
Terry. I'm sorry.
Every time I see him, I just want to like bink, 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 like pick him off. Like, come on, I know somebody got a comb and a razor. We can figure this out. Yeah, Johnny Infantino should. His name is not. That's not how he spells John.
Did I misspell it?
No. I thought it was Johnny.
No, it's just Trump calling him Johnny. Trump is basically Brad Pitt doing Gorlame.
God, his teeth are terrifying. Yeah, he looks like if this
Looks
man
like a
ever,
shark.
If this guy ever bit anybody, you would know. There would be signs. Like, Johnny, did you bite this telephone pole?
Oh, so yeah, FIFA's rigged, and I hate the World Cup. I was just begging and pleading with Robert to. Lucas is going to be so mad. Lucas is going to be so mad. He's going to still want to talk about this damn thing. And you and me are going to be just completely out on it for the remainder of the tournament, which is unfortunate because the game, if you are just watching objectively, it is a tremendous result. It is so much fun to watch Egypt collapse and Argentina come back and Messi be a part of it after being denied early in the game. Okay? But if you are that club, you are in hell today. You are in absolute hell. And we have all experienced something like this at some point in our sports lives. VAR has the same problems as NFL officiating, as the NBA 2-minute report, which is there anything dumber than the NBA's 2-minute report? Like, yes, let me make you feel better about the things that did not go your way in a game that was decided by, a couple of points here or there by detailing exactly how we got it wrong. But transparency, here you are.
See, I think they could fix that if they would do like the soccer rule. Like, okay, 2-minute. We reviewed everything. This was a missed foul. This team gets X amount of free throws. This team gets X amount of free throws. And then it would mean something. Yeah. I wouldn't like it, but it would mean something.
Right. So that's how the show starts today. Speaking of World Cup, people in American soccer are very critical of Christian Pulisic, who was subbed out of that World Cup loss, the loss to Belgium, in which the U.S. men's national team was spanked like bratty children in front of the, how many people does Lumen Field hold? It's got to be close to 70,000. It's one of the bigger stadiums I feel like that we have. Anyway, a lot of passionate American fans saw their team get smoked. Christian Pulisic dealing with some level of injury and not a lot of impact throughout the course of this World Cup, getting criticized by basically everybody who has played for the national team on the public stage that is currently has a platform, right? This is Carly Lloyd speaking on this Fox broadcast after the game was lost about Christian Pulisic and his lack of impact in this World Cup.
No, look, it's a bit of a downer for us being out here now after this loss, but I felt like they lost the game before they even stepped out onto the pitch, and I'm not sure why, and I don't know the reasons, but just from the beginning, just chasing, tentative, scared, just not confident on the ball. And I think big-time players, you wanted some of those big-time players to step up in big moments. And I got to be honest, I was a bit disappointed with Christian Pulisic. I think whether he wants to be the star of this team or not, we didn't see enough from him in this particular game and really the whole World Cup. Little glimpses here and there, but look, aside from this loss, I think on the brighter storyline, it's been a fantastic World Cup. This team has united the country. They have, gotten American fans to fall in love with them. And there is a bright future, but this is just a real disappointing loss to go out on.
The music that you hear in the background is Fox showing a highlights package, and it's just all Christian Pulisic getting hurt.
Woof. Woof.
Here's Captain America. Oh, there he goes.
Dad, you're on TV. Like,
and it's just him holding his shin.
Doing the Peter Griffin.
Landon Donovan said you'd have to drag him off that field, kicking and screaming. And Pulisic's like, I stubbed my toe. No, that's not very nice.
We can't do that.
We can't do that. But we kind of can. Carly Lloyd just kind of did.
We could.
Because Robert, seriously, though, it is one thing for me to sit here and make jokes or, American soccer fan X to go on Twitter and bitch and moan about Christian Pulisic. It's a lot different when one of the greatest players in American soccer history, somebody who has won the World Cup twice and is an Olympic gold medalist multiple times over in Carly Lloyd to call out the disappointment. That means something. And she's not the only one. Tim Howard and Landon Donovan on their podcast talking about Christian Pulisic. What were you texting?
Was doing important business.
Okay, watching videos of a parrot getting a fade is not important business.
That was yesterday. Today it's an elephant.
Go.
To whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
He is the face of this team. He is undoubtedly its best player. And when that happens, you will receive all of the money and all of the acclaim, and you'll receive all of the blame. That's how it works. There were times where I was that player for certain teams. You've been that player for certain teams. There were plenty of teams I was on that I wasn't that player. I hope for his sake, he isn't on social media for the foreseeable future. He deserves a rest. He can go on holiday. And yeah, there's a dark side. There's a dark side to fame and celebrity. What I would say about him is, when someone tells you or shows you who they are, you believe them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a nice footballer. I do. I think he's a very nice footballer. Still think he's the best player on the team. Outside of that, you'd have to ask me very direct questions to which I could give you very direct answers, but ultimately, he's a nice footballer.
So that's Tim Howard being like, yeah, he's got a great personality. I don't know what that means for the future of soccer or the next opportunity we get to compete in the World Cup, if we do get to compete in the next World Cup in 2030. All of those things, those conversations can be had by people who are more invested and more intellectually capable around this sport than me. But I think that's basically the thing that we were talking about in the lead up, because that is a principle that can be applied to all sports, no matter what your level of education or nuance in those respective sports are. Big-time players make big-time plays in big games, and Christian Pulisic did none of that as somebody who is currently holding the moniker of Captain America. Carly Lloyd and Tim Howard are telling you exactly that. We also have to talk about Robert's toxic traits. Do you want to do that next?
We can do it whenever you want. Doesn't matter to me.
I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. I said we're going to get to Robert Walsh's toxic trait here in just a second. It involves the National Football League. We've not talked a lot of NFL here in the last couple of weeks. The World Cup has given us a bit of a distraction, but that distraction is now over because FIFA's rigged. Speaking of Robert Walsh's toxic traits, bowling. He's a sucker for a bowling alley.
God, I love it. The smell, the sound, the sights, the who, the what, the when, the where, the why.
Lucky for you, we have a bowling event coming up.
When is it?
Next Thursday.
I'll be there.
At Eastside Bowl. You can hang out with us, hang out with 3HL. Some other folks from the station are going to come and help us raise some money for a great charity in Home Street Home. Crew from the Raw Room podcast, Jalen Collins, King Dunlap, Darren Bates, all going to be there. I texted them yesterday and I said, would love to have you guys on the show, except for Bates.
I would love to have Bates on the show if we could record it ahead of time, you know?
It would be a completely non-usable interview. And I personally, I love Darren Bates. Robert, it will surprise you none. Are you familiar with him at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's the Carolina Panthers assistant special teams coordinator right now, right?
Yes. He was an undrafted rookie free agent out of Auburn. Great special teamer. Him and Coach Mack had a wonderful relationship.
Whenever you heard Mack say Batesy, it was like, oh, okay, they're about to have a good hug here.
It was so.
I did pull a snippet of the last time he was on the show, if you'd like to hear it.
Bates?
Yeah. The whole thing. Had to bleep the entire thing.
He zoomed in from a workout on his cell phone and I think said the N-word and the F-word within 20 seconds.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I said, I love you, DB, but you can't come on the radio show anymore.
But he will be a lot of fun to be around.
He's a great time.
At the bowling alley.
So, but it will surprise you none, Robert, if you're familiar with this human being and his personality. That's the first player to ever check my ass in the locker room. People think it's Jeffrey Simmons. No. It's Darren Bates over the volume of music in the locker room. It's always a fun story. So maybe Bates will tell people how he proverbially gave me a swirly at the Titans facility. And I think that was my first year, maybe my second year. Anyway, 615-737-1045. The number. So, Robert, if I said that you have one toxic trait, what would you say that most toxic trait is?
Oh, forgetting to flush the toilet. Cheyenne hates that.
Oh, my God.
But the one that you're alluding to is the one that
How do you forget to flush the toilet?
I'm in a hurry sometimes. I got to get back to what I was doing.
What are you doing that you're in such a hurry that you can't flush the toilet? An act that takes less than a second.
Sometimes you're busy. I'm a busy guy. I don't know what to tell you. And also, it's water conservation. You know, I was raised, you could use the toilet about 3 or 4 times before you flush it. But that's neither here nor there. The issue that you have, and I assume most of the audience will have with me, and I don't really care, is I learned yesterday in the gym that a bunch of people are weenies. A bunch of really strong, big men are weenies. Yesterday I was at the gym working out, and a guy comes in. I've seen him a couple times before, and I'm on the bench press, and he asked me, hey, can I work in with you? I was like, sure, you're probably going to lift a lot more than me, but I'll help you move them on and off. I get up after doing my first one, and as you can tell, I'm a rotund fella. I'm a little round, so when I exert myself, I sweat profusely. And this guy's like, you're not going to wipe that off? Buddy, you asked to work in with me. I'm not wiping off anything. In fact, ever. I'm never wiping off gym equipment. Everyone came here to sweat. If it's that big of a deal, then they should hire somebody to wipe it down. Create jobs. Help the economy. It's not my fault that, oh, you came in here to sweat. I didn't sign up. I pay $40 a month to work out here. I'm not paying. You don't pay me to wipe stuff up. I'm not wiping off anything. So the guy's like, I'll just come back later. I was like, well, you better hope somebody wipes it off in between because I'm not doing it when I get done. When you go into the sauna, are you wiping off the sauna? No, you just sweat. I feel the same way about the gym. If it's that big of a deal, Then whoop my ass. So anyway, I got my ass kicked yesterday. Call me lazy or whatever. I don't care. We came here to sweat. You came here to work out. It's probably because I was a high school wrestler, and wrestlers are inherently
That's 100%
gross.
it. Wrestlers are disgusting. The amount of times that my buddies in high school who were wrestlers would get ringworm. How are you getting ringworm in 2020? Well, I guess that would have been like 20. When was I in high school? 2011? 2012?
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah.
God,
Wrestlers are gross.
I mean, sweat does not bother me. It doesn't bother me. I was a pro wrestling referee. Like, I touch sweaty men all the time. You hugged everybody with your shirts off. Like, it just happens.
Okay, but what if you get staph infection? Are you familiar with staph infection? That's the thing that used to perpetuate high school football locker rooms around the country, at least when I was playing high school football.
They usually say that's what you provided to the station when they hired you, was a staph infection.
I had a college roommate one time. He was in a long-distance relationship, and he was FaceTiming his girl. She lived in South Florida. And
everybody's agreeing with you. I've never had staph, ever.
Yeah, but how many people are you giving it to?
I'm clean. My body is a temple. I only put in necessities. Your former girlfriend, sorry.
No, it's not mine. College roommate had a long-distance girlfriend on FaceTime one day when we were still in school. It had to have been our senior year, and I had never met my buddy's girlfriend, but I'm sure at some point in conversation she had asked about his college roommates. There were 4 other people that we lived with, and I'm sure there was some level of description about all of us. And so one time I went down into his room from my room while he was on FaceTime with this woman, Robert, and I introduced myself to her, and she said, "Raul tells me you're a Cancer." I said, "Yes, I'm born in July."
That's a pun, ladies and gentlemen, because he is an actual cancer that needs to be cut out, forcefully removed.
Yeah, people wanting to know what position I played in high school. What would you guess?
Were you this tall in high school?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm 6'2". I was at least 6 foot in high school.
You were probably a linebacker.
I was an outside linebacker.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. Did not have the hands to play tight end.
Did not have the end to play tight end either. Flat back buck.
You're down on my end just because I sit across from Lucas. I'm telling you, on average, got a nice end.
Hey, listen, I'm well
just because
aware,
I don't look like I have a BBL.
I'm aware of the comparison. I have always been the friend that made the other friends look better. Yeah, that guy's an 8, but standing next to Bert, he's a 10. I get it. I understand. But you are the victim of this. I have a perfect ass sitting in front of me every single day.
Yep.
So by comparison, your ass is subpar. Do a little twirl for me. Oh, my God, he's going to do it. Oh, my God.
Like on the chair?
Julie, how am I going to see your ass if you're sitting on it?
Well, what I'm saying is, like what Lucas did, where he got on his knees and said, "Pause."
I can't believe you would do this. I mean, however you want to show it off. All right, he's positioning himself. Nothing, dude. Nothing, man. You couldn't park a Skittle on that thing, let alone a drink.
Park a what?
Nothing. Anyway, so Ben's get down from the chair.
That's a nice ass.
No. I've seen how you rank other people. If that was an anonymous ass, you would not rank it as a nice ass. You would say, no, oh, that's awful. Oh, it's got nothing. No juice. Yeah. You know who has juice?
Why are you making me like a 1930s gangster?
Oh, you got no ass, see? Come here, kid. Let me show you a real ass. Ben Solak. He's got a real ass.
No, I have to take this call first.
Yeah. I keep trying to get to the article.
I don't want to do it.
We got to do something.
Why? Why do I have to do something?
Okay, you're the boss.
I need that clipped. Crawl, clip that for me.
Do not clip that.
I need that.
Do not clip. Do not clip that. Take the call. Take the call.
I need that put on the board.
Jim in Nashville. What's up, buddy?
I'm the boss.
Hey, what's up? I'm from Hickman County, and back in the day, there was an old beer joint called Earlene's, and she had a sign up in the bathroom that said, "If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down."
Oh, Erlene. What? I mean, that's, I guess it's like peeing in the trough at Neyland Stadium. You just kind of do it. Just a rite of passage, essentially.
Rite of passage.
Rite of passage.
Yes.
I love that Erlene's a real person, that there was an actual Erlene and not just a bar named Erlene's. Thank you, Jim.
I always say, if you forget, let it sit.
The idea that this woman is going to marry you. After all of this is truly a testament to true love. I respect it. We will get to this Ben Solak NFL season predictions in just a little while, because it is it's the first of what I expect will be many kinds of off-season disrespect or doubt that will be sent in the direction of Carnell Tate. Now, I don't think they're actively antagonizing Titans fans by putting this off-season predictions thing together the way that they did. But there are reasons to push back on it, of which we will talk about later on in the show. There are a number of these that are what was the most objectionable one to you? Because to me, as I look at this, he has projected trades, he has projected division and conference winners. He also has teams that he thinks will miss the playoffs, and he says he believes that the Chiefs will miss the playoffs again. That, to me, is the most objectionable. If he's healthy, Mahomes, and they have actual balance to their offense with the running game, and Kenneth Walker, even pays off in part that contract that they gave him in the offseason. I'm not saying it's the best roster in the world, and like L'Jarius Sneed coming back is not going to turn them into a Super Bowl contender on defense or whatever, but this is still the best quarterback. He's not the most accomplished quarterback. That's Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen. He has done more with less before. Yes, he's coming off the injury, but it's an ACL. It's not an Achilles. It's not like what they're asking Daniel Jones to do. And theoretically, his offense is in a situation. Now, they may not be airing it out the way. Do you think of the Chiefs as an air it out offense anymore? Because they're really not. They haven't been for several years, out of necessity. But I think people think of the Chiefs in their mind's eye as just huge explosive plays at every turn down the field. They score at will. Like that Texans playoff game where they ran out of fireworks at Arrowhead. They scored so much.
I think that's been impacted by the drop in O-line play for them, and also impacted by Travis Kelce's obvious attrition as he gets older. Like, he used to be their intermediate target guy that would result in explosives. But as he's lost his explosiveness, it has led to less of such. Obviously, trying to replace Tyreek Hill from years back, like they're probably never going to catch that lightning in a bottle from Tyreek's second and third year in the league.
Yeah.
But they have pieces, and so like is less. It's less about the Chiefs for Solak than it is about the competition that they're going to be facing. He notes in the article that they don't look like an AFC West contender. The Broncos have a better roster than them. Mike McDaniel's addition to the Chargers makes them a pretty heavy favorite to have a top 5 offense this year. And he does not think that while they have Patrick Mahomes, their roster is ready to compete talent-wise with the Broncos and Chargers. And I don't disagree with him, but I think a superstar quarterback and a head coach like Andy Reid makes up a lot of that space.
They are a wild card team. They may not be, however many years consecutively they won the AFC West. That streak has obviously come to an end. But I'm okay if I'm late to the party on the Chiefs are dead. Like, I'm gonna keep betting on him and them as long as he is anywhere close to the peak of his powers, which he should be. He may not be the best version of himself this specific year coming off that injury, but he's still in the prime of his career as an NFL quarterback. He can still do things that are unthinkable. for the vast majority of players in this league. And yeah, it came to a screeching halt this past season for the first time in a very long time. It is a bold thing to say, and it's going to be, I think, a controversial thing to say, so maybe that's the purpose of articles like these. But I think if you're being common sense about it, you cannot bet on the Chiefs to miss the playoffs in back-to-back seasons with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback.
I do appreciate his willingness to step out on a limb, though. Maybe we revisit this tomorrow because we're out of time here because we talked about not flushing and gym etiquette. But when we come back to this, there are a number of times he steps out on a limb, going so far as to say the Texans will win the AFC. The Vikings will win the NFC North.
Well, let's come back to it at 11:20 because I don't think I have 20 minutes on Big 12 and Monster sponsorship.
Oh, you may not. But boy, do I.
Okay.
Have you read that article yet?
Yes.
Okay. That deal, I don't even want to dive into it too much. It is laughable.
11:20 tonight. We'll get to it. 615-737-1045. A Colorado quarterback has exposed Deion Sanders as a coach. We'll tell you what we mean coming up next.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
There was a brief moment in time where it felt like Deion Sanders was going to be the face of college football in this country. And then his son, Shedeur, got drafted, and Travis Hunter got drafted, one of the most impressive players in college football, and actually unprecedented player that we've ever seen. And so both of those players leave. Colorado, for a number of different reasons, in the following season goes 3-9. And then nobody cares to hear from Deion Sanders when he's the coach of a 3-9 football team. So Big 12 Media Days are going on, which means SEC Media Days are right around the corner. Where are they this year? You probably wouldn't know.
Tampa? I believe it's Tampa.
That's possible.
I know 3HL is going down there for that. I think it's the 22nd.
They usually do.
Going off the top of my noggin. The 20th. I believe they'll be there the 21st through the 24th.
Okay. So, yes, it is at the, Tampa Marriott. I've stayed at the Tampa Marriott many times. Tampa, a good spot for that. Tampa in July, tough. Stay inside. Big 12 Media Day is going on. And Colorado quarterback Julian Lewis was doing an interview. Off to the side, it wasn't at the podium. It was an interview with with ESPNU. And he was asked, Lewis was, the biggest difference between last year and this year. And this was his revelation.
The most since last year to now?
My play, I'm actually looking at the defenses now. Last year we wasn't really looking at defenses as much, just kind of high school free ball and just out there playing football. But, it's a lot bigger than that now, so it should be fun.
They're just out there winging it?
Well, that's not what he said.
Free balling?
No boxers, no briefs.
No cup?
Just letting them swang.
Okay. Well, it's tough to let them swang at 3-9.
Yo, they took a swang, all right. They got swung around.
They got hitting them. There's nothing swanging. They got kicked in the nuts. And 3-9. Nothing swanging at 3-9. No matter how many cowboy hats Deion tries to sell me. Kroll asked me this earlier while we were getting ready for the show, like how I felt about Deion. And I struggle with it because I like Deion Sanders. I do not agree with the amount of people that come out against Deion Sanders as far as just how generally loud he is, right? Because I think there's also some racial components there that I don't love. And I think that he and his family dynamic for the community that they represent are very important figures, as evidenced by the Shedeur discourse that has, overtaken everything around the Cleveland Browns and at the time the Colorado Buffaloes. Deion is saying that he's got a curfew for the coaches now. Remember Warren Sapp was just recently on that staff? Warren Sapp back in the news?
I remember.
So I'm sure at some point in time, and it's always after the fact, right? We don't learn that Jaylen Brown is viewed as a locker room cancer until somebody tells Colin Cowherd after he's traded, right? That's typically the way that these things go. You can call it a smear campaign if you want to. It's usually very convenient, the timing. After something is broken apart, then people start to tell you all the things that they know about this thing. And so I'm sure at some point there will be revelations after Deion Sanders and Colorado are done with one another, however that ends, whether he's fired, whether he moves on, whatever that looks like. There will be many exposés about Deion Sanders inside the Colorado locker room, what it was actually like. There's going to be some stuff that's, to put it diplomatically, less than conventional. His quarterback saying, we didn't watch defenses last year. And maybe he just misspoke a little bit. Maybe that's not actually, what are they doing then? What are they doing during the week? If you're not watching tape and you're just out there winging it or freeballing, as Julian Lewis said, what are you doing? What all of this footage around Coach Prime and Amazon Prime documentaries being shot and Inside Access and all these different things, what's going on in that building if the quarterback is saying, I didn't really watch tape last year. This guy did it. 3-9.
I like to imagine their offensive coordinators in there. They get in there for tape day, the lights get dim, and he's like, all right, everybody in here sing the longest yard? Do you know how the Mean Machine beat those Texas State prison guards with this play right here? And he puts on the final play where they're just like, whoop, whoop.
We ran that in Cub football one time.
It probably worked.
I think we got flagged. Yeah. pretty sure we got flagged.
So you guys ever seen Billy Bob run that hook and ladder? That's what we're running this week.
So I'm sure that it's not quite that extreme, right? Julian Lewis is saying something that is going to be picked up and run with as if it is gospel. It's probably not 100% gospel, but there's got to be a little truth to it. If he's saying, yes, I'm actually reading defenses now or looking at defenses now, studying my upcoming competition to prepare myself and my teammates for the upcoming contest. For Deion, is there a situation in which Colorado fires him? Because I have to think that he is still a net positive for them, even if his teams are, let's say, closer to 500, maybe not 3-9. I think Shedeur and Travis Hunter's last year there, they won 9 games, got smacked in a bowl game against BYU, if I remember correctly. So let's say Deion hovers somewhere between 7 and 9 wins on an annual basis, depending on the roster that they have. And God knows their roster turns over. Deion has made the mercenary style in college football his MO. I don't know that it's beneficial to Colorado to fire him, but there's no question that we're not talking about Colorado as a program of relevance. And that was the goal, right? To be perpetually relevant, to be perpetual contenders. And they're a far cry from that, it feels like.
I looked up Deion's buyout. If he is fired on or before December 31st of this year, it is a $10 million buyout. That's probably unlikely. They probably let him play out the season. If he gets past that and it gets into the 2027 year, it is only $6 million, which in coach salary, if you're really spending money, I don't think it's that much money. So they could move off of Deion, or he could hold him up after this year if they have a decent year and say, hey, I want a new deal with more money where you have to pay me.
And he was transparent about it at the podium. He was talking about them up there getting their butts kicked all last season and saying, he was asked about things being turned around. He said, quote, it's already turned. You just ain't seen the fruit. It's already there. Okay, we'll see. I mean, it was a pretty dismal season. They were 1-8 in Big 12 play, beyond just being 3-9. So they're just getting smoked by everybody in their conference and rolling up a couple of wins on teams that don't have a real path forward or are on the same real playing field as them. They were ranked 133rd out of 134 teams in major college football as far as their run defense went last year. They have, again, overhauled their roster. They have 66 new players. That's the other thing in football that makes it so tough. How the hell can you expect to have can you build on anything? And I know, things don't always translate year over year, but things like offensive line play, some level of continuity for the quarterback and the language that he's speaking, just to be out there with dudes that that you have thrown passes to or, run defensive line stunts with, like 66 new players. I know that's closer to or becoming more common in college football. 66 is still an extreme in today's transfer portal NIL era.
And maybe that's what's going to feed into like the Indiana style of practice now. I watched a video yesterday talking about Indiana only has 11 offensive linemen on their whole roster. So, I mean, you got 8 guys, 9 guys that'll dress. Who's running practice team reps? But they don't practice like that
Indiana
anymore.
Does not. That's Cignetti's whole thing. He is running something closer to an NFL practice than you would your traditional college football, authoritarian, full pads, 95% speed, Brian Kelly scissor lift type stuff.
I wonder how that helps them, though, like in the idea that maybe that you can focus on the top 20% of your roster and let the guys that are going to grow and show in the background, or if there's another school of thought there. But it could blow up in your face. I mean, injuries happen, and all of a sudden you're starting true freshmen in Big Ten play.
His explanation, I would have to go back, and there was a big article in The Athletic written about him. There's been many articles, obviously. It was the defending national champions in college football written about Curt Cignetti, who I think he's taken that mantle that Deion had for a short period of time. He's kind of taken the lead on coach that we defer to in college football. Maybe my bias is showing there as somebody who's an Indiana alum, but I feel like I'm seeing way more headlines about Curt Cignetti being asked his opinion on the state of things in college football than I am Kirby Smart or Lane Kiffin, who's doing think pieces and talking about, racial sensitivities in Mississippi. 615-737-1045. If you call that number and you tell us the dumbest thing in sports this week, what do you win? Is there anything in the nebulous prize bucket?
2 tickets to see the Foo Fighters
Ooh,
at Nissan Stadium, August 15th. That is a good show. We should probably go to that show.
We one of the last concerts we went, well, I guess maybe not one of the last concerts we went to, but one of the concerts that we have been to as a unit was the Foo Fighters at Bonnaroo.
Excellent show.
It's a great show.
Until he brought his daughter up there.
I forgot about the daughter slander.
God, dude, because it was such a build-up, too, where he was like, this person is my favorite person to play music with. And right before that, Paramore was up there. So you're like, oh, he's bringing Haley up. Oh, he's going to sing.
And she did. She did get out there for a song later.
Right. But at the same time, it was like, all right. She sang like this depressing song about their grandfather. Everyone in the crowd's like drunk or high or like any kind of activities you do at a music concert. It's like, my grandfather passed. It's like, oh, hold on, lady.
Sounded like the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Which is a banger. I will cry to that song if I'm drunk enough. Stop singing about your grandpa.
Larry says she was awkward, but she has some bangers out there this year. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we just caught her at the onset.
Guess I've been sleeping.
Of her burgeoning music career. But if you want Foo Fighters tickets, 615-737-1045, call in and tell us what the dumbest thing in sports this week is. Summertime is no fun when your air conditioner is out. And then thinking you'll be waiting for hours upon hours to hear when someone can come and fix it. That's not true with Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. When you book online, you'll find they will send you a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. So you'll see for sure that they're on their way. And when they're on their way, no more wasting time waiting around. You know soon that you're going to be surrounded by cool air coming from your replaced or repaired air conditioner. And when the next worry is, how much is this going to cost? You have Hiller to the rescue again. The price Hiller quotes you is the price you will actually pay. They are the most trustworthy plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical company around. And it's obvious after 35 years in business that they are the real experts. Professional, experienced, and trustworthy. As Hiller says, 100% satisfaction guaranteed of happy you'll be, or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. A family-owned and operated business that knows what they're doing when it comes to plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical issues. So don't sweat it. Call Happy Hiller and book online today at happyhiller.com.
What's going on? 11:03. Good morning. Live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I am Robert Walsh. The round of 16 concluded yesterday in stunning fashion. Argentina, led by Lionel Messi, scored 3 unanswered goals in a 13-minute span in the second half to come back and beat Egypt 3-2 and advance to the quarterfinals. Messi scored his 8th goal of the World Cup and takes the lead in the Golden Boot race. Also, Switzerland took down Colombia to win 4-3 in penalties and advance to the quarterfinal for the first time since 1954. Now, the quarterfinals are set. France takes on Morocco Thursday in Foxborough. Spain takes on Belgium Friday in Los Angeles, and then on Saturday, Norway faces England in Miami. Argentina taking on Switzerland in Kansas City. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Come on, what are you doing? Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
For the opportunity to win 2 tickets to see the Foo Fighters concert at Nissan Stadium, 615-737-1045. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? So, Robert, are you familiar with Celeste Amarilla?
No, but that sounds fantastic. What is that, a drink? A dish?
It's a very racist senator from Paraguay.
Oh, we don't like that. Or how did your guest yesterday say? Paraguay.
Paraguay.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I love when you put a little with it. The Paraguay. Just remember, we beat the hell out of them.
Yeah, we did. And so did France. Well, France didn't beat them as badly as we did, ironically enough. But Celeste Amarilla is an incredibly racist senator from Paraguay, who wrote several racist tweets about Kylian Mbappe, who is France's World Cup star, okay? After the French World Cup victory over Paraguay in the round of 16, there was an incident between Mbappe and the Paraguay goalkeeper. And so the very racist senator from Paraguay writes, "The brute didn't even learn to write. Instead of mother's milk, he sucked on coconuts, and the most educated thing he heard were chimpanzees." You could not find a more extremely racist and wrong thing for a 61-year-old political figure to write about an opposing player from another country. She has retracted her racist statements, but doubled down on her criticism of Mbappe. So she's basically saying, oh, well, that's just how I grew up.
Woof. That excuse doesn't work for our grandparents, and it doesn't work for you.
The brute didn't even learn to write. Instead of mother's milk, he sucked on coconuts, and the most educated thing he heard were chimpanzees.
See,
is how her tweets translate.
That's
pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Paraguay, you are no longer invited to the cookout.
Yeah, I would say.
Like, what, dude? Can you imagine if someone, I mean, you don't have to imagine very hard, but like, can you imagine if someone from our country said something like this?
Oh, well.
You don't have to imagine very hard, but that is so on the nose racist. Like I feel like if people now go out like, oh, roundabout terms or PC ways to say things they want to say without really saying it. Yeah. She just came out and said it.
Yeah, I think that we have a tendency to think, at least we can get caught up in an echo chamber as a society, right? Where we think that our racism is something that is unique to us, or our country's history regarding racism is something that is unique to us. It's not. In fact, a lot of problematic behavior in Europe generally regarding African countries and African people or people of African descent. And so Celeste Amaria is the dumbest thing in sports this week.
Don't show your face around here, Celeste. My dumbest thing in sports. This really hurts my feelings because I look forward to this every single year. Sans Grand Theft Auto 6, this is my most awaited video game every single year since they brought it back 2 years ago. College football comes out for the normies. If you didn't buy the deluxe edition with Madden and college football packaged together, you get to play it tomorrow.
Oh, they're doing like a dual set?
Yeah. Oh, you got to buy both of them. Yeah. You got to buy both of them. So if you're a regular person like me, you will get to play the game tomorrow. And while I have no problem waiting, I am upset about the things that I'm finding out while I'm waiting. Yesterday, one of the more prominent college football streamers, Bordeaux, came out and said, "Hey, EA, I thought you guys probably thought you could slip this out from underneath us, but EA has added microtransactions to two of their more popular playable styles in college football, Road to Glory and Dynasty. In previous years, you could change the XP slider so your coach would gain them fast or faster. This year, they have taken away that option, and they have also slowed the development of players and coaches down to entice you to buy these levels. So they're slowing the game down.
Buy EA coins.
It's rough, dude. I literally stopped playing 2K because of the whole VC thing. You play, you grind, you try to make a better player, but in the end, you're always going to be beaten by people who pay to play. And pay to play is not a good design, in my opinion. But I don't really play Road to Glory. I'm a Dynasty guy. And when I saw this tweet earlier today, it kind of gave me pause just to give you guys perspective about how much it's changed. So in previous games, the more you play, obviously, the better your coach gets. This year, it has changed. This tweet from Saturday Studios. EA has completely missed the mark on their Coach XP in College Football 27 Dynasty. To reach level 100, the max level for a coach, you need approximately 2.5 million XP. If you win a national championship, a full national championship run earns you just 16,000 XP. For perspective, that means you need 150 playoff seasons to reach the max level. So you would, if you're doing a realism simulator, you would need 150 years of making the playoffs consecutively to reach the max level. That's ridiculous. It's atrocious. It doesn't stop you from playing the game, but it does hurt the simulator aspect of it. If you're a Road to Glory fan, this is also concerning.
This right here is my 5-star tight end. He ended his freshman year with 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 200 catches. He also goes on to win the Heisman in his first year. And with a year like that, you must think like, boy, you was generational. You must have got hella upgrades. No. I only made it to a 76 overall. You see, I got the max. I could hit 99 if I had the points.
If he had the points, a freshman tight end with 2,000 yards, 150 or odd catches, won the Heisman. He's a 76 overall. It makes no sense. It's a cash grab. I hate it. We had 2 great years of the game, and now EA's like, I want my money. That's my dumbest thing in sports.
I wonder how much money they were making on the game anyway, right? Because bringing back the game alone,
buku bucks.
Has to be.
It costs $100 to upgrade your player from a freshman redshirt to a maxed out 99 overall player.
So those, somebody in the comment section says EA is a microtransaction business first and game second. So microtransactions are in-game purchases.
Right. I mean, They ruined Star Wars Battlefront like this by making it a pay-to-play. I was like, oh, you want to play Darth Vader? Well, you can purchase it and get a coin to play him. It is the death of games. I would also throw PlayStation saying they're getting rid of physical media and going to digital-only consoles, but I won't. I'll get off my soapbox for that.
Okay. 615-737-1045 is the number. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? Before we get to the phone calls, a reminder that the Bowling Bash happening next Thursday at Eastside Bowl. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a great time hosted by our show, but we will have a lot of other people from the zone hanging out. We'll have special guests. We'll have you guys there, all to benefit Home Street Home, which is, of course, an incredible charity that helps rehabilitate and protect the unhoused community here in Middle Tennessee. The weather has been brutal this summer. Stephen Young is 70 years old, out there working with his team, trying to help those in most need. It is an incredibly easy segment of the population for us to ignore. You roll up your window when you pull up to an intersection where you see somebody selling a contributor, or, with a sign that says anything helps, or simply asking for a water bottle, whatever the case may be. Stephen Young is out there in the community doing the work for those in need. And so the very least that we can do, or that we like to do as a show and as a station, is help him raise some money for doing the actual work. So anything that you guys are able to contribute is always appreciated. You guys help us raise a lot of money for this cause every year. That is what the bowling tickets go to. It's 3 hours of bowling on next Thursday night. It's going to be a great time for only $40. There are options to purchase teams of 3 or teams of 6. You can also purchase individual tickets if you are so inclined. We can't wait to hang out with you guys. 1045thezone.com is where you go to get your tickets for the bowling event, which is always a great time. Let's go with Kevin in Brentwood.
Guys.
How are you?
My dumbest thing, I'm doing well. I hope you guys are too.
Yes, sir.
My dumbest is countries whose World Cup uniforms don't match the colors in their flag.
Oh, okay. That's a good submission.
Crazy. Couple of examples. Australia's flag, red, white, and blue, and they look like the University of Oregon out there in green and gold playing soccer. And then the worst is we lose to a country the other night whose flag is red, black, and yellow, and their uniforms look like a bag of cotton candy exploded all over. Very confusing and just really bugs me. And that's my dumbest thing this week.
I think that's a reasonable complaint. Remember to stay on hold for the opportunity to win tickets.
The thing that helps me the most is them, and I don't know if they've done this before because it's the first World Cup I've watched, but they do UFC style with the name. So the color that the team is wearing on their shorts, I believe, is the color that is the accent behind them on the scorebug. So America would have like a navy blue behind them. And last night it was like a pinkish, whitish hue behind Belgium.
Nicole is in Hendersonville.
Yes. I think the dumbest thing is with the World Cup, how we got screwed over by the refs. There was red flags that should have been thrown. And also I have to agree with the gentleman. The uniforms were kind of confusing. It was hard to keep up with whom were who.
So, Nicole, you're saying that in the loss to Belgium that the refs screwed us over?
Correct. There were a bunch of penalties that happened to Belgium, and they were not called for. And I also think the World Cup was rigged from the beginning.
I agree. Argentina. I agree.
Yeah, of course you agree.
FIFA's rigged. Terrible organization. I don't think that's a popular opinion. I don't think many people were citing the refs. I think most people looked at the performance by the U.S. and said, no, they got their asses kicked. But, if that's Nicole's opinion, obviously that is her submission. Kenny is in Clarksville.
The dumbest thing in sports is how Egypt had the call, the foul that was 70 yards from the box.
Yep.
They get a call, and then they go down and score the goal, and then they end up taking the goal away. And, it was such a bad call. Talk about rigged. Unbelievable. Now, they did score later on, but still unbelievable.
Okay, with no bias whatsoever, Kenny wins the tickets?
Yeah, I literally told him, I was like, the easiest way to win these tickets is to appeal to the host.
I will consider other submissions. But, he's right, though. Right? He's right. He's right.
It's rigged.
It's rigged. So the explanation is it's not just that they're 70 yards from the goal, almost 100 yards. I'm reading the reporting from The Athletic on the decision to disallow Egypt's goal. It is objectively viewed as incorrect. They're almost 100 yards from the goal. Argentina had every opportunity to get back and to be on defense. Egypt felt incredibly aggrieved and should have been. If you look at the incident, there's some contact, what they call foot-on-foot contact, and a brief pulling of the jersey. No offense that would be worthy of a VAR callback committed in the, and again, I'm looking at still shots here, but also in the replay, nothing there that would be considered VAR callback worthy. You can also see how far up the pitch it takes place. Argentina, plenty of players back to defend, so it's not a disadvantage to Argentina. FIFA's rigged. Preston is in Hendersonville.
Hey, hope y'all are doing good on this rainy Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
The dumbest thing for me this week, it had to have been the blunder by Matt Freese to get that ball cleared and coming out too far. And then ultimately, I think that goal totally took the air out of USSL. So, yep, that's it for me.
It's a tough spot. I mean, they were getting their asses kicked before Matt Freese made that mistake, but that was just like our ineptitude summarized as best you could. Now, I think the gut punch, I'll disagree or push back on Preston just slightly. I think the gut punch was the 10 seconds that it took Belgium to go right back down the field and score after we scored our only goal. I think that was the thing that made me think, like, all right, this is how this one's going to go. Caleb in Nashville.
Hello, guys. The dumbest thing by far is the fact that we are accusing the President of the United States of being the one that caused us to lose a game where these are men that are paid to play the game and win no matter the cost. And so that for me is just ridiculous. It's not the President's fault. These are men who just weren't ready for the spotlight.
I appreciate the call. That was that's the thing that a lot of Knicks fans said after he showed up at their first loss. Trump, his first sitting president, I think, ever to be at an NBA Finals game, if I'm not mistaken. And so I think if you want to blame Trump for anything, it's getting involved. Now, they got their asses kicked because they got their asses kicked. I have no context to say that, the level of noise, because it did become an international political scandal in the lead up to that, in the 5 days between when he got his red card overturned and when the match was scheduled to take place, and Trump had his comments about it. So if you want to blame Trump for anything, it's that he shouldn't have gotten involved with FIFA. Now, we were joking around on Monday saying corruption is great as long as we're involved in the corruption and making jokes to that effect. But there is no question that a sitting state official, whether he's the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, whomever that official is, should not be calling in favors to the soccer governing body, be like, hey, get our guy back out there. That I think is a fair criticism of Donald Trump, not that they directly lost the game because of Donald Trump, if you want to parse those things. Let's go with Justin, and that'll be our last submission.
What's up, Buck? Love the show, man.
Thank you.
My dumbest thing, well, somebody actually kind of stole my thunder with the goalkeeper debacle on Monday night, but I do have another one, and that is I don't understand how we left Reem on the field the entire game. He was absolutely awful. If you go back and watch all four of the goals that we gave up, he was the common denominator, usually standing there like a parking cone. I mean, he made no effort on the first goal. There was a guy running wide open right behind him. He literally just stood there. He got absolutely ragdolled on the second goal on the header. If he had just stood there on the goalkeeper debacle, the ball would have went right into his shin guards. But instead, he did some kind of flailing leg kick that ended up putting it right in the corner. So to me, it was. I get he's the captain. I get he's the vet. I understand that, but in that moment, with everything on the line, I don't understand how you leave him in the game the way he was playing. He just didn't have it.
Yeah, it's a great submission by Justin. Tim Ream was a liability out there. So, Robert, are you familiar at all with Charlotte FC?
The North Carolina professional team?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So Tim Ream is a part of Charlotte FC, and they posted, proud of you no matter what about Tim Ream, and the comments are very unkind.
To be expected.
Very unkind. Like, I appreciate if you are, the current club of the player and you want to say, proud of our boys no matter what, proud of you no matter what, maybe just send a text. Maybe say it in a phone call. Maybe don't post it on social media, tag the guy so all of that floods his mentions. Maybe he's not checking social media, maybe he's off social media no matter what. But maybe don't draw further attention to the fact that, hey, here's his @ if you want to tell him what a mother effer he is for costing us multiple opportunities in the World Cup. You can direct your hate here.
Yeah, maybe don't tag him. I like them being brave and standing out in front of everybody and saying, that's our guy, we're proud of him.
Yeah.
But maybe just don't tag him so he doesn't have to see
Don't tag him. Don't tag him. I think that's a guiding principle for athletes and public figures. They're getting enough of that stuff in their mentions already. Maybe don't draw additional attention to it. All right. So, my guy that picked Egypt, right?
Yeah, who was that?
Oh, I think he dropped.
He did.
Damn. Okay. I think Justin's is more egregious than, the Matt Freese thing is egregious, but Tim Ream, that was as disappointing a showing from a veteran player as I think you could possibly have. So it's a close one between Preston and Justin, but I think Justin has the more correct answer there. So congratulations to him. He's going to go see Foo Fighters. Remember to call us every Wednesday at about this time for the opportunity to win great tickets and prizes to any number of events like the Foo Fighters at Nissan Stadium. 615-737-1045, the number. If you want to jump in, you are welcome to do so. Coming up next, we're going to get into this story about the Big 12 and this Monster Energy sponsorship that is laugh out loud funny when you see the details of it. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's any issues, small or big, you're going to fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. Cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running upstairs.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. The best hot chicken in a universe. Not just this world. The chicken is otherworldly. Download the Hattie B's app. All of their Middle Tennessee locations open as of 11 a.m. today. So you can get your quarter bird if you're Robert.
It's more like a half bird kind of day today.
Half bird, you're hungry.
I didn't have breakfast today.
I could eat that hot chicken for 3 meals a day.
They have enough opportunities where you could mix it up and make it work.
Oh, yeah. No, are you kidding me? If you gave me access to the entire menu, I was saying I could eat the chicken tenders every day, meal after meal after meal.
Oh, okay. See, I think I could do that, but you saying that means a lot more than me saying that.
Well, yeah, you two are human garbage disposals.
Raccoons, as you called us. Or no, is that how Lucas said raccoon?
No, I say raccoon.
Raccoon. Got it. While you're talking about sponsorships, dude, you talked about Colorado last year. Well, at least they'll have a little energy now, right? They'll have a little caffeine to fuel their defensive watch parties.
So, Brent Yormark, we mentioned that Big 12 Media Days are going on, which means that SEC Media Days are right around the corner, which means the 3HL will be on the scene, which means you will get great interviews, as they always do when they're down there at SEC Media Days or wherever SEC Media Days is being held in any given year. Much better than when they sent me to SEC Media Days when it was in town. Were you here for that?
I believe so.
I was miserable.
Well, yeah, you're generally that way.
It's the one time that at the end of a week, I actually felt bad about what I did to Lucas that week because I made it miserable.
Oh, you made it all about you?
I made it all about me being miserable, and then I wore a crown on the last day because it was my birthday. And then expected everybody to, cater to me. And was catered to. It was delightful. So I won. But I have never understood his obsession with media days. I understand it's a very popular thing, and 3HL does a great job with it. So we'll look forward to 3HL's coverage of the SEC Media Days. But conference media days happening all over the country, or getting ready to. Brett Yormark is the commissioner of the Big 12, and he announced at the media days the introduction of a league-wide sponsorship agreement with Monster Energy. So you're going to have co-branded Big 12 Monster patches on every jersey. So that's football, men's and women's basketball that are all going to be branded with these co-branded Big 12 Monster patches. It's a multi-year licensing deal. It includes the co-branded logo appearing on each Big 12 football field and basketball court. Is worth around, now...
It's got to be buku bucks, right? Multi-sports, patches.
Multi-sport, visuals on the players' jerseys and on the courts or fields. And it's for the entire league. So I think there's 16 programs in the Big 12 right now.
Is it a 1-year deal? Is it a 5-year deal?
Multi-year deal.
Okay.
So this must be, we have to be talking hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
You would think, yeah.
Easily.
That would make sense.
The deal is worth around $20 million annually and makes Monster the conference's entitlement partner in those aforementioned sports. Monster just got the deal of a lifetime. And I get it's not the SEC and it's not the Big Ten. And maybe if you consider, I don't know who you consider to be the superior conference in terms of brands right now, whether it's the Big 12 or the ACC, depending on how you look at it, okay? $20 million a year is the athletic department equivalent of couch cushion change. And I get that, if you're not making $20 million a year, that you would say, well, that's a ridiculous thing for you to say. $20 million a year is life-changing money. Okay, for an individual. This is for every institution, every university, multiple sports, men's and women's basketball, on top of the football programs.
And it's 1 point what per school? Like 1.25 million per school?
Yes, I believe that is the breakdown.
That doesn't even pay for a premier defensive lineman.
What was Chaz Coleman reportedly getting ready to make? Like 3.5?
Something like that. I can't
At
remember.
Tennessee? Yeah, $20 million annually across the 16 schools. 1.25.
For reference, there was I can't remember who the sponsor was. They wanted to sponsor and get a patch on Oklahoma's jerseys. They were offering $5 million just to be on the football jerseys.
And honestly, $5 million sounds low.
Right. And this is the first conference-wide sponsor. There are sponsored patches for different schools. I looked this up earlier today. Louisiana State, LSU, obviously. They have Woodside Energy jerseys patch sponsor. Wisconsin has a Culver's patch. Memphis has FedEx.
Wisconsin has Culver's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what it should be. Like the cheese
butter burger
with the cheese curds
and a badger.
There you go. Oklahoma State has a tribal Indian nation that sponsors their jerseys.
Native American.
So it's not. I couldn't get out the PC term. I was trying to figure out the best way to say it.
It's okay. I'm here for you, honey. It's okay.
Appreciate that. So it's not strange to have schools have sponsored patches, but a conference-wide patch is insane. How much money would you fathom it would cost to sponsor the SEC as a whole?
On football, men's and women's basketball. So you're talking about Alabama football, Kentucky basketball, LSU football, LSU women's basketball. You're talking about some of the biggest brands in collegiate sports. I mean, Tennessee is an international brand. I would think you would have to be somewhere in the neighborhood of
$100 million.
Oh, I would have said like
man.
I would have said like five. I would have said like $500 million. To be on multiple sports, on patches and fields and courts across the conference in 3 different sports, 3 revenue-generating sports. No, I would think $500 million. Now maybe I'm overshooting by a wide margin, but I don't know. If we're going to turn this into NASCAR, and athletic departments are going to cry poor because they're not, which is a crazy thing because, again, the institutions are not paying the players. You have NIL deals that are being run through these institutions to offset the cost of the players. I can't imagine how Brent Yormark could justify a deal like that. And how the hell that's the best offer that they could get. Good on Monster. 615-737-1045, the number if you want to jump in. We would be happy to have you. So who's the SEC's version of this? The Big Ten's version of this? Wisconsin and Culver's is a match made in heaven. Maybe we can work our way through that coming up next.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair? The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no rules.
All right, so we're going to play the game. We're going to play the game of taking the Big 12's terrible, terrible financial misstep and letting Monster Energy have basically their conference branding rights for $20 million a year for men's and women's basketball and football branding on their jerseys and on their respective fields and courts for $20 million annually for 16 different programs. Each program, if the money was distributed evenly between the programs, $1.25 million. That's criminal.
And while it would be fun to pick the SEC sponsor as a whole, I think it would be more fun to pick school-specific sponsors.
I've made a list.
Oh, I just had two in my mind.
No, I've made a list.
Oh, I love it.
All right, who are the two that you have?
And I told you this one in the break. The layup is Georgia getting Uber, Waymo, or Lyft as a sponsor.
They need it.
It's like, well, it would be very obvious. Like, oh, arrests have gone down. Speeding tickets have gone down. It would be a twofold sponsor where you would get money, and then you would also get things that prohibit your players from being on the field. So Waymo would be the most sense. So just stick them in the back. Don't even let them drive. Don't even let them touch it.
Who's the other one?
Tennessee.
Okay, who do you have for Tennessee?
With Tennessee being in the courts, Nico, Chaz Coleman, Joey Aguilar, I think Bart Durham, injury law. It's like, hey, if you're going to go to school here, you might as well lawyer up because you're going to need us at some point. You're either going to want some money back, you're going to want to change schools, you're going to want to stay and play, you're going to need a lawyer. Why not Bart Durham? Even though they just do injury law. I think they could do sports law. Maybe Dan Lust wants a sponsorship.
Brendan Sorsby tried to argue that his financial loss was an injury.
Bingo. There you go. Bart Durham, get him in there.
So I gave Vandy Hattie B's because.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No other lesser chicken companies will appear on this list.
They would have a good patch, too.
Now, there are a few that I had trouble with. But I feel pretty confident about the handful that I was able to write down. So you had you had Georgia and Tennessee. All right. So for Alabama, I have the Republican National Convention.
Because it's an elephant.
Yep.
I got it. I get it. That's good.
No subtlety there. Just put the elephant,
Hey, Big Al. What's up, Big Al?
Sure, the people of Alabama will be fine with that. For Arkansas. Now, Arkansas is a Razorback is a hog. There are some unconventional ways that you could go about the hog. Pause. Or you could be, again, heavy-handed like I was and give them Piggly Wiggly.
That's where my mind was going. But if you wanted to stick on razor, Gillette would make sense as well.
Oh, okay.
Helping the Razorbacks stay sharp, Gillette, the best a man can get.
For Florida, I have Crocs.
Crocs makes a lot of sense. A Gatorade is the layup because that's where Gatorade was made at.
No, too obvious.
Yeah, Crocs, that's great. And then, God, if I was a Florida fan, Gator-sponsored Crocs would be... I tried to get the Ravens Crocs, and they were sold out. Actually, I'm glad I said that. I need to double-check on the eBay.
For Kentucky Wildcats. Now, we're doing this just for football or for basketball, too?
Dealer's choice.
Okay. Well, I gave Kentucky Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey bourbon.
I think Buffalo Trace the one that's up there? Or I don't know anything about whiskey.
Jim Beam is up there. There's several.
Okay.
For Ole Miss, I gave them the Clan.
You didn't.
Yeah, I wrote Clan.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's the world's biggest cocktail party. They could also, or no. What's their moniker? What's their thing?
KKK.
No, it's not. No, it don't say that. We need to recklessly.
Lane did. Why can't I?
We know we are recklessly speculating.
Normally, I can only make Lucas uncomfortable when I do stuff like that. Look at you squirming back there.
What's your next one?
I have, this will make you feel better. For Auburn, Fox News, Bruce Pearl.
There you go. Get his sweaty red face all over it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is a good one for Kentucky Meow Mix.
That would be good.
That's a good one. Well done by Larry.
If we were going to do Auburn, they could get you could get Kellogg's sponsor and do Frosted Flakes, have Tony the Tiger. That could work for LSU, too.
Well, I had Missouri Frosted Flakes.
Okay. Or you could get a Star Wars sponsor with them from their goofy-ass coach. Do you remember him doing the Darth Vader stuff?
Well, mine was also Lens Crafters because of his dumbass glasses.
Nerd.
For LSU, I just had Lane. Just a picture of Lane's face. Lane Kiffin. Brought to you by Lane.
Brought to you by the local hot yoga studio. Brought to you by Sorority Row.
Hot Works.
That's pretty good.
I struggled. I mean, I went heavy-handed with South Carolina. I gave them Tyson Chicken.
That's the easy one.
For Texas and Texas A&M, I had a hard time. For Texas A&M, I guess I could have just said Jim Jones, cult figure. Put a Jim Jones patch on there. Texas, I wasn't really sure what to do with it. I wasn't really sure what to do with Texas. I mean, Longhorn Steakhouse is probably the easiest one.
Yeah, I was going to say give them the calculators, the Texas Instruments, and then put a calculator on their logo or something.
That's pretty good. That's better. You played this game better than I did.
Give them the TI-81, baby. I bought one of those and sold it so quick.
We were talking about... Oh, I forgot Oklahoma. I don't have anything in here for Oklahoma.
Oh, easy. It would be Tinder. Because there ain't no love in Oklahoma. Join Tinder and find your girl or man or whatever you're into.
Goat.
Yeah. Goat Finder. Sponsored by...
No. I don't want to encourage that.
BYU's is easy if we were doing BYU.
Condoms?
Super Soaker.
Oh.
Get him the water guns.
Well, yeah, I mean, condoms would imply that they're having sex.
Right.
Which famously, they will be stricken by lightning.
Yeah, you can't do that. Can't do that.
Not if you dock, though. If you dock, you're safe.
That's the cool part.
Any
That's
port
when
in
you're
storm.
in the okay.
Yeah, something like that. All right, very good.
That's not bad. That's fun.
I don't know. I mean, Uber for Georgia is the best. That's the layup.
I think that they would be too worried about optics of taking that. Like, that would be them admitting that they were wrong. And they would end up getting pulled into something like, what's a Georgia adjacent? Like, how long before other professional sports teams could sponsor them? Like, could the Bulldogs have a Falcons logo or a Braves logo? Put an A
God,
on?
really?
Like, we're just having cross-contamination with all the sports.
Georgia football would be like, no, we don't want the Falcons money. We don't want that 28-3 juju. It's on the Egyptians now.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, well, have fun taking that back with you.
Somebody said Utah's a shaking bed.
Yeah, that's tough.
Oh, my goodness.
Utah, brought to you by Waterbed. I didn't move, I swear. I swear.
The Big 12 screwed up. We could all agree. Your mark, how he's handled the Brendan Sorsby stuff, how he handles the financial future of the Big 12, understanding that he was kind of up against it, right? When the Pac-12 dissolved, it became then the Pac-2, and then basically every Pac-12 institution came over to the Big 10 in the conference realignment situation. Like, Brent Yormark has an interesting job and an interesting problem that he's trying to solve. I just can't possibly imagine. Like the Jaylen Brown thing. You mean to tell me that's the best you could do for a former NBA Finals MVP? 36-year-old washed Paul George? That's basically what the Big 12 did. $1.25 million per institution for a licensing and branding deal that spans 3 revenue-generating sports is criminal. But this is, I think, this is why if you're Tennessee, for example, you're grateful that you have Danny White, who's inventive and innovative in the way that he fundraises for an individual institution. Yormark's job is different than Greg Sankey's is, right? Greg Sankey is not out here passing around the collection plate trying to keep his conference alive. In fact, they're trying to govern what's left of collegiate athletics and trying to keep this thing on the rails. But the money grab, I mean, we knew that college sports was a money grab. This is just terrible. We'll get into more. Stick around. We'll talk Titans coming up next. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. We're going to swing back around to NFL predictions from ESPN.com here in just a second, and where the Titans do or do not fall in the middle of those NFL predictions here in just a second. Also, Greg Cosell is going to join us. The way that we're going to do the install this week, because those of you who listen to the podcast informed me last week that there was no podcast. You are correct. Greg and I took, I think, the first week off that we've taken. So we're going to do 2 episodes for you this week. Greg's going to be on the radio show today, and we're going to talk about non-quarterback draft prospects that he's been studying in the summer on the radio show. And then on the podcast for tomorrow morning, we will talk about the quarterback prospects that Greg Cosell has been studying so far in his downtime. Because what does Greg do when he doesn't have to study tape? He studies more tape. 12:20 today. I do want to mention this. Robert, at any point while I was gone, did you guys talk about this Blaze Taylor story?
We did not. We didn't get into it because I believe when the story first came out, it was before the hearing or the appearance in court.
Yeah, so this has since been decided. I just wanted to read this, the summary of this for people who may not know what's going on. And full disclosure, I wouldn't say that I know Blaze Taylor well, but he was definitely somebody that I knew when he was a part of the Titans scouting staff during my time covering the Titans. I'm reading directly from the AP News report. Blaze Taylor, a former defensive back at Arkansas State and NFL scout for the Tennessee Titans, was found guilty of murdering his girlfriend and her unborn child last Wednesday in a Nashville, Tennessee courtroom. The jury recommended a sentence of life in prison for Taylor, who will be formally sentenced on September the 9th. Taylor, who was arrested in 2024, was accused of poisoning girlfriend Jade Benning's pink lemonade with cocaine in February of 2023. Benning died on March 6th of 2023 on her 25th birthday, and her 5-month-old fetus, which Taylor is believed to have fathered, died on February 27th. Benning was rushed to the hospital on February 25th after Taylor called 911, saying that Benning was having an allergic reaction. Her condition quickly became critical, and she was unable to speak with police before she passed. Taylor, 30, was found guilty of 4 counts, 1 count of second-degree murder of Benning, 1 count of first-degree murder for the unborn child, 1 count of first-degree felony murder of Benning, and 1 count of first-degree felony murder of the unborn child. Taylor was working as a defensive analyst for Utah at the time of his arrest. Before that, he had worked in the Titans scouting department for 4 years. Goes on to say, I don't think this was a necessary addition in the ESPN or AP article. He was a 4-year starter at Arkansas State, served as a captain and earned first-team all Sun Belt honors as a defensive back and punt returner. Don't think his football accolades are necessary there. Terrible story. Anyway, this piece on ESPN.com caught my attention because anytime we get to the summer, anytime we get to the time of year where football is not actively being practiced or played, which is what these 7 weeks right now are, you start to see the appearance of NFL season predictions, a lot of top 10 rankings. We're going to talk about, since the Titans will have no players on the top 10 rankings other than specialists in Chimere Dike or Morgan Cox. And in the defensive line category, I fully expect to see Jeffrey Simmons' name in there. They will not have any other players. So the way that we're going to do the top 10 rankings of positions this year is the top 10 rankings through the prism of the Titans and who they will face, which of the top 10 players at their respective positions the Titans will face in 2026. So we'll do that tomorrow, and we'll do that Friday. Off-season predictions, though, or upcoming season predictions. Always interesting to see where people's minds are at and what is considered to be a risky prediction or a bold prediction versus kind of sticking to the status quo. So if I said that Myles Garrett will have 20 sacks this year with the Rams after breaking the single-season sack record previously held by Michael Strahan, would that be a surprise? Is that a bold prediction to say that Myles Garrett with the Rams and a defense that has many talented players like Kobe Bryant and Byron Young and potentially Aaron Donald? We will see. There is at least some scuttlebutt still out there about Aaron Donald unretiring. Myles Garrett having 20 sacks with the Rams this year. Bold prediction or not?
If I was going to put a Hattie B's spice level to that, I would probably say that is mild. It would be impressive for him to have 20 sacks, and part of that is because I think that he's going to unlock people around him more than just being running roughshod amongst people. But again, he did that with the Browns, and people around him still ate because he was being triple-teamed, double-teamed. But I wouldn't say that's a hot take. The guy just broke the sack record and is probably the best pass rusher of our generation. That's not really stepping out on that far of a limb, but he also led with it. So maybe that's his least spicy take in the article.
And I know you've looked over this, so you may be able to tell me the answer to these questions. Can you tell me the one player in NFL history that has had multiple 20-plus sack seasons?
Green?
No.
Tell me.
J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
2012, 2014. If you include Pro Football Reference's retroactive sack charting, so they started charting sacks as an official stat in 1982. So if you go pre-1982, Mark Gastineau, who famously went after Brett Favre.
You hurt me, Brett.
For taking a dive.
You hurt me. God, it was like a wrestling promo. I just wanted to smack the hell out of Brett.
Mark Gastineau and Deacon Jones would have had multiple 20-sack seasons if they went before 1982. So Gastineau in the 80s and Deacon Jones in the 60s. Jones would then be the only player to produce a 20-plus sack season in consecutive years. How many times in NFL history has a player sacked quarterbacks 20 times in a single season? Can you tell me?
Oh, I can't. I would think the number would be slightly lower than what you would expect. I'd go 25.
Oh.
To give you a round number.
It's pretty good, 23.
Ah, looky there.
23. You sure you didn't look at this?
I didn't. Okay. He actually, the thing I like about Ben and the thing I dislike is if you try to throw these articles in haphazardly, you'll be doing yourself a disservice because he goes at length as to why he thinks this. He's really good at expanding on not just saying, I think this will happen because they need this, and being done. He expands very thoroughly. So while I enjoy his writing, I did not get to read every piece of this article.
Sure. I misspoke earlier when I said Kobe Bryant. That's the corner. Kobe Turner is the defensive tackle.
There you go.
So, among the predictions in here, Dak Prescott will become the 10th quarterback to throw for 5,000 yards in a season, which if we were doing Hattie B's spice level of take, I would also put that as a medium. 5,000, again, something that only 9 other players in the history of the sport have done is a substantive prediction. But if you look at the Cowboys' offense last year, they were freaking awesome. Their defense is one of the worst defenses I've ever seen in pro football. And I covered that Titans defense in 2020 that is the statistically worst third down defense in the history of the sport. So Cowboys have the ability to do that. You've got Pickens back. You've got CeeDee Lamb back. CeeDee Lamb missed, I think, 4 games early on in the season. Dealing with a high ankle sprain. So I'm not saying that they have to get better, but they could. You could see Dak Prescott getting to a 5,000-yard season if things are largely healthy for the Cowboys. We mentioned that he is predicting the Chiefs to miss the playoffs again. I disagree with that. He also picks the Texans to win not the AFC South, but the entire conference. Now, disclaimer, he says, I reserve the right to change this prediction before week 1 as we were getting more news about Denver quarterback Bo Nix's ankle health. The Broncos roster is so stinking good, is what he adds parenthetically there. So I will also disagree with him here because C.J. Stroud is a head case until proven otherwise. Now, if it is as simple as, okay, C.J. Stroud, a lot of quarterbacks need to operate from a clean pocket. Okay, that's not an uncommon thing. C.J. Stroud is not an exception just because he needs an especially clean pocket to work. But like he has had meltdowns of epic proportions because of the way that he reacts when he is under duress. And in the last couple of years, especially last year, you felt like he was not even that under duress, but kind of seeing ghosts a little bit. I would cite the example of the Texans beating the Titans 26-0 at home in week 3 and C.J. Stroud playing terribly in that game. They were awful. the Texans offense, and that team is good enough. I don't think there's a better roster construction. You could argue the Broncos, but I don't think there's a better roster construction than the Houston Texans in the last 5 years. I think they've done an amazing job, and that the quarterback was supposed to put them over the top, and the quarterback right now is arguably their biggest hindrance. Now, I know they've had some offensive line stuff that they've been working through the last couple of years. We'll see if they got it right this time.
I agree with the way he showed his work, but I disagree with the solution that he ended up on with them winning the AFC. I think this is the most important note he shares. It isn't just the roster that stayed consistent. They didn't lose a single coach. Defensive coordinator Matt Burke, who got head coaching opportunities with the Cardinals, didn't leave. Defensive back coach Dino Vasso got defensive coordinator interest, but withdrew from consideration. None of the positional coaches left. So while you looked at what happened to Detroit and what happened to Philly with brain drain over the years and having to replace very smart coaches with the coaches that were coaching underneath them, it can work if you have talent, but it works even better if you have the people that brought that idea to fruition. So I don't agree with how he came about the result, but I do agree with how he showed his work.
Well, here's the thing that Titans fans are going to take the greatest issue with, and that's his pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So we have a number 1 overall pick at quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. Last year's number 1 overall pick at quarterback, Cam Ward, did not win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. In fact, you could argue, and I think, there's more. Cam and Dart are closer last season than the difference between Shuck and the other two. Shuck was the best rookie quarterback. It's not, to me, even a conversation. He was also the most NFL ready of the three of them, and so there's reason to believe that he won't get much better, that he can still be good on a team that won, 7 games last year? Or good enough to win 7 games, but he may not be good enough to do any better than that. Shuck is far closer to his ceiling than Dart or Ward. He was the best quarterback of the three of them last season. Dart and Ward have the higher ceiling. Solak is predicting that Antonio Williams will win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Antonio Williams is the 71st pick in this year's draft. He's the 9th receiver that was selected in this year's draft. Carnell Tate was the first. What his logic is, although receivers have recently won this award more frequently, we haven't seen late drafted players break into the ranks. Even Puka Nakua's 105 receptions for 1,486. That's ridiculous. How the hell did Puka Nakua not win Offensive Rookie of the Year? 105 catches for 1,486 yards?
What year was that? Was it 23 or 24?
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud Rookie Year. Still, damn. I don't know if you don't give that to Puka anyway.
My biggest knock on this is not the player he picked, but rather the type of player he picked. Can you tell me the last time a slot-specific player, like Antonio is, won, not even placed, won Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I couldn't. I would have to pull up the last, the last 20 years of Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Almost. 2009, when Percy Harvin won Rookie of the Year. He was a gadget player, almost slot-specific, dynamic returner. He had to do all of those things to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Explosive returner. Antonio is not. Slot-specific player, he is. Not a gadget player. Someone that's going to have to make his hay in the slot. Outside receivers, if a receiver is going to win it, generally outside receivers are the ones that bring the hay to the barn, so to speak. And that's why it's a hot take for him to say that over Carnell Tate, over Jordan Tyson, over any of the other players that, if you were going to...
Any of the other 9 players that were drafted, 8 players that were drafted ahead of him.
If you were going to pick a slot-specific wide receiver, and Omar Cooper is not going to play only in the slot for the Jets, but I imagine that's where the dearth of his... snaps would happen.
Not dearth. Dearth is a lack of.
Dearthless.
The majority.
Most of them are going to come in the slot. I would have picked Omar Cooper to be your slot wide receiver to win Offensive Player. A very spicy take, and that's the nature of this article, but this is my biggest vehemently disagree on his entire list.
Now, and I'm not even advocating on behalf of Carnell Tate, because can you tell me how many wide receivers in the last 10 years, maybe you have the list in front of you, I do, how many wide receivers in the last 10 years have won Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Tet, Chase, Those are the only ones that come to my mind.
There's one more.
Give me the year.
22.
Oh, Lord. I should know this. Give me the conference.
AFC. I don't think you're going to get it.
Okay, just give it to me.
Garrett Wilson.
Dang it. Zach's back here like scratching and itching like, come on, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Come on.
Tet last year. Garrett Wilson in 22. Jamar Chase in 2021. Before that, the last wide receiver to win Offensive Rookie of the Year was OBJ with the Giants. So, just in the last 10 years, Dak, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Kyler Murray, Herbert, Chase, Wilson, Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Tet McMillan. Those are the last 10 years of Offensive Rookies of the Year. Now, I think that, my position was on Carnell Tate being drafted number 4 overall. I am okay, completely fine with a bad football team taking a safe option, even if it is the number 4 overall pick. Even if it was, to most people, surprising based on the ceiling, the projected ceiling. We don't know what he's going to be, but the projected ceiling of the player is not that of Jordan Tyson, but he's a better overall receiver. He's a more reliable receiver. And so safe on a bad football team, totally fine, completely acceptable, low risk, high reward. If you are going to take him 4th overall, he has to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. If he's healthy. If he can play the vast majority of games, if he can play, let's say, 15 games, 14 games, 14 or 15 games, I feel like it's fair. If he misses a game here or there, not the end of the world. He should still have the ability to eclipse 1,000 yards. He has to be a 1,000-yard receiver. He has to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
You don't think there's a world you could live in where he's pushed by Mendoza or Love? I know Love is in a crowded back room, and Mendoza, we don't really know if they're going to go with him or Kirk to start the season, but I would imagine that would be his main competition and not any of the other wide receivers that were selected.
I agree. Jordan Tyson's in New Orleans?
Yes, sir. Why did I say yes, sir?
Because I'm your boss. You already said it.
Well, your boss is waiting.
Carl pulled it. My boss is waiting?
Oh, yeah, Greg Cosell. He's already in the room.
Oh, okay. Greg Cosell next. Trying to think of the last time I went 2 weeks without talking to Greg Cosell. I was in Europe, and then we rescheduled last week's podcast for the holiday. It's been a while. It's good to see you, buddy. I missed you. Thanks for making some time.
Oh, no. Hey, I missed you. I hope you had a great trip, and glad you made it back safely. You know, you never know, unfortunately, these days. So good that you're back, sitting in your spot, and shooting the breeze, as it were. That's what we do.
I know Lucas was getting a little too comfortable in my chair. I had to return just to make sure that things were in order and that they didn't replace me, Greg. You know, it's like the media is like pro football. They're always looking to replace you in some way or another.
Yeah, that's right. They're looking to take your job. You know, well, it's good you're back, and we're back at it. And it's hard to believe. When do the Titans report what, July 27th, I believe it is?
Yes, I believe their first day is the 27th, and then the following day is the first practice for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's late this year, but it'll be here before we know it.
No, it always, the summer, we kind of dread it a little bit because, oh my God, what are we going to talk about if there's no football? But it moves pretty quickly. And Greg, in his free time, because when Greg has free time from watching film, what does he do? He watches more film, and that's why we love him. So, Greg, today on the radio show, we're going to do non-quarterbacks. On the podcast for tomorrow morning, we're going to do quarterback prospects that you're watching. And this year, again, we want to let a college football season play out before we make any determinations on these players. This year, it seems like it's going to be difficult to kind of keep the lid on this thing for the amount of excitement that is around the 2027 class. How much have you enjoyed going back and watching some of these players before we get started?
Yeah, I mean, well, the one thing I'll say is this. You know, right now, to me, the goal is to evaluate the player, because it's almost impossible now to do mock drafts or to talk about, you know, making lists of guys, because they are going to play another season. They're still, a lot of these guys are 19 or 20, maybe 21 at most. So to start, you know, deciding what they exactly are is a tough thing to do. So all you can do is watch the tape and let the tape tell you, and then say, hey, you know what? I think he's going to have to improve in this area, because guys aren't finished products, Buck, when they come out. So these guys certainly aren't finished products. But when you come to the quarterback class, that's going to be a fascinating class, because, you know, obviously a lot of people right now are saying it'll be a great class. Again, we don't know that. We have to let another year play out.
So let's talk about some of these non-quarterbacks. And as I mentioned, Greg and I are going to tape another episode of the podcast this afternoon, and that will be available to you folks tomorrow morning, wherever you get your podcasts. The receivers are going to command a lot of attention, and I'm sure that the receivers have been a part of your off-season film study. So Jeremiah Smith is the obvious. Do you want to start with him, or is there another player you want to talk about first?
Well, I think everybody knows Jeremiah Smith. I mean, you know, he's been talked about, obviously. You know, I had a chance to meet him at a Maxwell dinner, which was in Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame, when he was going to be a freshman at Ohio State. And I got a chance to spend 5-10 minutes with him. Really impressive young man, really big. That's the thing that stood out to me. And where I rarely do, but because everybody was raving about him, when I got back from that Maxwell dinner to my office, I ended up watching some of his high school tape, just because everybody was saying that this guy is like unbelievable. It was like watching you know, a man play against 6-year-olds. He was so ridiculous.
Derrick Henry's high school tape, right?
I'm sure it was like that. Yes. Yeah. Which I never saw, by the way, but I'm sure it was like that.
It's almost cruel to have Derrick on a high school field.
Yeah. Cause I actually met him too when he was the Maxwell winner, and he looked then like he does now. He looked the same.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's leave Jeremiah Smith out. We know about him. The other receiver, and by the way, this guy was the 5th-rated player coming out of high school, so it's not as if we're talking about a guy that no one knows, and certainly in the SEC they know him. And we don't want to get Miss Davenport upset because he just left Auburn, but Cam Coleman is another really big-time prospect, and he'll be at Texas this year. You're dealing with another guy that's 6'3". He's vertical. You know, in an odd way, you could almost argue he's a little looser than Jeremiah Smith. Not saying he's better, but just I'm talking about the way they move. He's a very loose athlete, and he's a vertical dimension. and you would have to assume at Texas he'll put up huge numbers. So, those two players, they're reminiscent to me. And again, I'm not comparing the players. I'm just comparing what I think could happen in a draft next year. Remember when AJ Green and Julio Jones went 4 and 6 in the draft?
Yeah.
I could see, again, it's a quarterback draft, so could that push them down? Who knows? But I think you're dealing with two guys who are going to be in the top 10 on people's boards, barring anything unforeseen.
Yeah, and he's a good one to remind people of, because I do think most folks who pay attention to college football or draft analysis, early draft analysis, know who Cam Coleman is. But Auburn's situation last year was nightmarish, right? So it's okay to have not had him at the forefront of your mind if you're talking about college football players of consequence, because he wasn't really playing in meaningful games the way a lot of these guys were. I'm so interested to see how Steve Sarkisian uses him in that offense this year, Greg.
Yeah, well, he's a true boundary X type receiver. Now, the college game isn't the same as the NFL game, but I think in the NFL, that's what he would be. And just so people know what that means, when you line up in the NFL, which is probably 50% of the snaps for most teams, or close to it, where you have 3 receivers to one side and 1 receiver to the short side of the field, what we call the boundary side. That receiver is called the boundary X. Coleman is your classic boundary X, and he's a top tier talent. I mean, he's everything you want, just as Jeremiah Smith is.
What games did you go back and watch of Coleman?
Well, what I do with receivers, particularly now because they have a whole nother season, when I watch more games, is I watch all their pass targets. Because when a guy has a whole nother season of play, I'm not so much worried about the games. I just want to see, because these guys who catch a lot of balls, usually have 100+ pass targets. So if I'm going to watch, 100 targets, that gives me a very good idea of number one, how he's deployed and what his traits are.
The running back conversation, Greg, and again, we are awaiting what the outcome of this coming college football season will be. Ahmad Hardy is a player who's going to get a lot of attention from Missouri.
Yep.
His situation is unfortunate because he was the victim of a gunshot in his upper leg at a concert this past May. He's recently had surgery. Now, by all accounts, he's recovering. His status for the upcoming season is still technically unknown. They are hoping that he can make a return to full health. Was Ahmad Hardy one of the players that you were looking at, or is there another running back that you want to start with first?
I watched Hardy. I watched Lacey from Ole Miss, who I like a lot. But Hardy, there's not much to dislike about him. I mean, I thought he was a really good cutback runner. He just had an innate feel for cutting back, especially in the zone run game. He battled. He competed for hard, sustaining yards. He has a low center of gravity. One of the things you got to look at with a back when you think about the NFL, Buck, is keep in mind there's not a lot of 50-yard touchdown runs in the NFL. Does it happen once in a while? Yes. But really, with NFL backs, what you really have to look at is how do they get hard yards? When it's blocked for 3, can they get 6? Can they get 7? Because that really dictates, whether a back can be a 250 carry, a year kind of guy, because that's what the league really is more about. It's, maybe fans in Tennessee, because of Derrick Henry, he could break long runs, but there's not a lot of those in the NFL. So you're really looking at toughness, competitiveness. Can they get hard yards? Because that changes everything for an offense and offensive coordinators. As you know, 2nd and 4 is a lot different than 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 9 in just the way an offense plays. And I think Hardy can be one of those guys. Obviously, we hope that he's totally healthy and he just gets back to being who he is. I think Lacey from Ole Miss is kind of that guy as well. I really liked his tape a lot. Again, I'm not going to sit here and necessarily say I like one guy more than the other.
Right.
But I really like Lacey. He's just, I don't know how big he'll be. That's my only concern. If he's 205, I'd love to see him be 215, but I don't know if he's that. But you're dealing, I thought he was sudden, he was competitive, he had great vision. He had a great feel for pace and tempo of runs, because when you take the snap, and you get the handoff, you don't just want to run full speed. There's a pace and tempo to different kinds of runs, and a lot of that can be innate. There's certain backs that, like someone like Adrian Peterson, it didn't matter because he was so powerful. He could just run at full speed and he'd run through people. But for 99.9% of backs, there has to be some kind of pace and tempo to sort of see it, to feel it, to let the blocks happen, to work through all that.
He's listed, Greg, Kawan Lacey, 5'11", 200. So longer than your average running back, but still lean. I'm assuming he's not 200 if they're listing him there.
Well, which could mean he's 195. I mean, again, and you don't know what he's going through in the offseason.
Yeah.
He's obviously not going to be 220, but it'd be great if he could get up to, 208 or 210. I don't know if that's possible. That's not my area of expertise, so I don't know his body type, what kind of work he's doing with personal trainers and all that. But if, that would be my only concern because he was a tough runner. And when you're 200, sometimes in the NFL, you can be tough, but you're not powerful because you're just not big enough.
I did a double take when I looked at his stats from last year, Greg. 306 carries in the college game is outrageous. I know Ole Miss likes to run the football, but 306 carries in any level of football is crazy.
And that's why he'll come out after this year because you just can't, you can't wear yourself out in college football because, maybe he's not going to have 306, but he's not going to have 120 either. So he's going to have to come out.
So, as I mentioned, Greg and I will talk about the quarterbacks later this afternoon. We'll do a separate episode on defensive players. Are there any tight ends, Greg, that you've been watching this offseason?
Yeah, I have. But, can I jump around for a second? Because, it's funny. I watch certain guys. I remember, and I'm sure I've discussed this with you. I remember when I was watching South Carolina a few years back, and Nick Emenwari was a freshman, okay? And he just jumped off the film, and I was like, this guy's going to be a real player. So, obviously, I watched him all through his career. There's a player I watched at Georgia, and we'll see what happens. Again, I don't know the young man, so I can't speak to that part of it. But there's a linebacker there who will start this year named Chris Cole. I don't know if you know the name. He was kind of a backup. He wasn't really a backup. They had a linebacker rotation. Everybody obviously knows C.J. Allen, who was drafted in the second round by the Colts. The other starter was Raylan Wilson, who's another prospect. He'll be a senior this year. So he has to come out. But then they played this kid, number 9, Chris Cole, who was a big-time 5-star recruit. And I'm telling you, he jumped off the film. He's basically the same size as Fred Warner. Now, I'm not saying he's Fred Warner. I'm just giving you a size. He just jumped off the film. And he'll start this year with Raylan Wilson, a linebacker. And I think people should just really take note of this young man. He is super impressive, super athletic. He was a track guy in high school. I mean, the way he moves and the way he plays, I don't make predictions, as you know, but no one's talking about him. It would not surprise me if he's into the big time conversation come the middle and end of this upcoming season.
That's a great tease for the audience who is getting ready for the college football season and obviously the pre-draft process as a result. Buddy, I'll look forward to our quarterback conversation here in about, 20 minutes from now if you're free.
I'll be ready to go. You know that I always am.
All right. That's Greg Cosell, kind as always to make some time with us. He visits with 3HL on a weekly basis. His normal visit was yesterday. With 3HL, or rather his normal visit Thursday with 3HL was yesterday. If you missed that, you can check out their podcast as well. We'll wrap up the show. Last call for phone calls, 615-737-1045. The number, I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. Wrapping up the show, last call for phone calls. If you got them, 615-737-1045. A reminder, we're hosting our bowling event next Thursday, just a little over a week away. You can compete against our show. You can compete against Team 3HL. You can compete against Team Raw Room. Looking forward to having more of our friends hanging out and a bunch of listeners, all to benefit Home Street Home. Jason Fitz was very kind to donate a team of 6. So we will be giving away a team of 6 at the end of the week. If you do not get your opportunity to get your tickets, we have 6 tickets on reserve, courtesy of Fitzy. So we're grateful to him, who he cannot make our bowling event this year, but he has decided that he still wants to contribute to the cause, which is a great one. Home Street Home doing amazing work and incredibly difficult work to help support the unhoused community here in Middle Tennessee through all manner of different conditions, right? We've been dealing with a lot of rain here recently. Before that, just unbelievable heat as a part of the heat wave that's hit the rest of the country. So it's not just the wintertime and the coat drives that are important for those folks who are living in the elements, living on the streets. Stephen and his team are making sure to help them year-round with as many different resources as they can provide. And, of course, they can only provide as many resources as we are able to help them raise. So homestreethome.org, by the way. If you can't go to the bowling event, Home Street Home, obviously, we want you to help support important causes, regardless of whether it's through the bowling event or not. But if you want to be a part of the bowling event and also help us raise money for a good cause, 1045thezone.com is where you go.
What I like about Steven, if you follow their Instagram, Home Street Home, they show their work. It's not like they're just taking money and doing ambiguous projects. Oh, we're trying to help the local unhoused community. He shows you what the money goes to, and he tells those people's stories. And it's hard not to get a little teary-eyed when you read about some of these things, how people just fell on tough times. It's not always as easy as saying, oh, that's a homeless person. They must be a drug addict. Oh, they're a drunk. Oh, it's not always like that. Sometimes one thing can send you spiraling, and they just do fantastic work. Recently, they talked about getting a guy money for a bus ticket to get back to where he's from in Missouri. I love those stories. Stephen does incredible work in the community. If you want to help us out, as Buck said, you don't have to come to the bowling event to donate. You can donate on their website. Buck, what is that one more time?
homestreethome.org.
It's good stuff. Stephen's good people.
Yes, wonderful human being. And I know his wife, Miss Andy, has been dealing with some health difficulties of late, so we hope that Miss Andy is feeling well and recovering as best she can. Maybe this is a tough thing to squeeze into the last, I don't know, what we got left,
7 minutes.
7 minutes of the show. You read this Seth Wickersham piece on Sean Payton and Bill Belichick?
I can't decide if it's genuine or if this is just happenstance of look how crazy Sean Payton is.
So the title of the piece is Sean Payton's Second Chance, Inside the Denver Broncos Super Bowl Quest, which, of course, ended in the AFC Championship game this year. They had the very unfortunate injury to Bo Nix after the divisional win against the Buffalo Bills, and probably could have won the Super Bowl this year, or certainly could have been the AFC's representation in the Super Bowl this year, had they just not been the victims of deeply unfortunate circumstance and their own weather conditions, right? Not only were they down their starting quarterback, but they were playing in a second-half blizzard against the Patriots, where all the points scored in the first half were basically the points that were scored for the game. This is a detailed look at Sean Payton, who's been a figure in our football lives for a long, long time. But among the things that caught my attention, and I think caught most people's attention if you read the piece, it's worth reading, but if you don't have the time, there are a few excerpts in here that are worth paying attention to. And I'll read directly from it on ESPN.com. His friend Bill Belichick sent him bullet points, talking about Peyton. Sent him bullet points that he used to give his Patriots teams. Peyton and Belichick go back decades, forged by mutual respect and mutual trauma from working under Bill Parcells. When Belichick and the Patriots divorced in 2024, Payton considered presenting Broncos owner Greg Penner a proposal for the ages. Hire Belichick as the head coach until he reached 15 wins, enough to break Don Shula's career record of 347. Payton would temporarily step down to assistant head coach and run the offense, then move back after Belichick became the all-time leader. In the end, it was too complicated and maybe too fanciful.
There was a word they didn't need to put there. Maybe. It is 100% too fanciful. Like, what in the world? Like, this would be the oddest coaching story outside of Vrabel Rossini that's happened since when?
Oh, in terms of bizarre, like the Vrabel Rossini thing is scandalous. And so, maybe you think that I'm not saying you specifically, but maybe people in their heads would equate, a ridiculous thing. This is two things. Like, this is a bigger deal to me than Mike and Diana, because there's a world in which Bill Belichick would have been the coach for the Broncos for just an indeterminate amount of time until he got to 15 wins. Sean Payton is involved in two of the biggest stories that didn't actually happen in my entire football life. The scandal that cost the Dolphins a first-round pick because they tried to lure Sean Payton and Tom Brady in a executive/player capacity that Stephen Ross was not able to pull off. Sean Payton as the coach of the Dolphins, Brady as the part owner and quarterback of the Dolphins. That never happened. So because it never happened, people never treated it like the story that, this is like a Pablo Torre investigates type of situation. That's a crazy thing. You know how much respect you have to have for an individual as an NFL head coach to say, yeah, you can be the head coach here for as long as it takes for you to get to 15 wins so you can break the career record. That's a crazy thing to just have tossed in to the middle of this story. And so there are many other details here about, learning more about Sean Payton, how he was able to get through the difficulties that the Broncos were in the middle of, and how they've built arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the AFC, that got completely thrown off kilter because their quarterback's ankle snapped in the divisional round. That sucks. That's the definition of it's better to be lucky than good. Because the Broncos were excellent last year, and they just, you can't do anything with Jarrett Stidham in an AFC championship game, as much as they tried to gaslight us into thinking that Jarrett Stidham was going to be able to play in an AFC championship game. All right. I think we've exhausted everything that we had to talk about today.
Something like that.
Okay, very good. We'll get into more Titans-related stuff this afternoon and more prospect-related stuff with Cosell. I'm going to tape a podcast here in about 7 minutes with Greg, and that'll be available to you tomorrow morning, where we discuss the quarterback prospects. We'll do another episode on defensive players as well. A quick reminder that Holiday World is open. Holiday World and Splash and Safari. Holidays in the sky. Have you heard about this?
I haven't.
Okay. The sky comes alive at Holiday World. I've been to Holiday World many, many times in my life, which is not somewhere that you would think that I would hang out. But we did a lot in high school because free sunscreen, free parking, free sodas. Holidays in the Sky returns June the 20th through August the 3rd with an all-new 500 drone show at Holiday World. If you want to win tickets, you can sign up for your chance to win today at 1045thezone.com. And a quick reminder on the way out the door that you can get the podcast if you missed any of the show. Wherever you get your podcast, you can even go back and watch this slop on YouTube if you feel so inclined, or wherever it is that you stream the show. I will see you tonight for primetime.